Alright, heading into round 3, we've actually got KaKaKa returning as Axis Waves Hunter. Every Sleeping Town is the map. Axis Waves still in the lead with 1 win and 1 tie. If they're able to win or tie this round, then that will be their victory. And even if they lose this round, they do have quite a few more points on the board than AWG, because the last round was a tie. We're still looking at that 7-point lead, which means that AWG really needs to just get as many escapes, as many kills on their hunter side as possible coming into this round in order to try and take it from behind. But heading into things, we do have Priestess as well as Antiquarian as our first 2 survivor bans. Opera Singer and Ivy have both been taken off the table, as I would say is pretty much expected coming into this. But Forward and Fire Investigator are going to be our first 2 picks. And once again, for global bans on the Survivor side, we've got Mercenary, Prospector, Seer, Coordinator, Psychologist, and Dancer. A Bomber is going to be our next ban from KaKaKa, and Acrobat has been selected. And finally, we will see Aeroplanist taken off the table. And our final pick will be the Painter. It's a little bit interesting. We generally see Painter in earlier rounds, but very excited to see Painter either way. Looks like Batoru is actually going to be on that Painter today. And Kairu taking the Fire Investigator slot. So very exciting here. I do wonder who KaKaKa is going to play. I wouldn't be surprised if we end up seeing KaKaKa's Hermit here, because it is Ever Sleeping. Ever Sleeping is a fairly good map for Hermit. No survivor on this team is really good, particularly good against Hermit. And I'm a bit surprised to see no specific Hermit counter picks. However, we don't have any Hermit counter picks on the bans list either, so it might come from behind. We're actually going to see KaKaKa's Soul Weaver coming out instead, which is, of course, very, very exciting as well. I would say, still very strong against this team comp, still very fast and very capable of controlling the map here. Soul Weaver is always just such a fun hunter to watch. Obviously I'm Hermit biased, but I do love a good Soul Weaver match. KaKaKa has brought out the Soul Weaver plenty of times before, and she is very, very formidable. I think the main thing here is going to be that there are a couple of stunners on this team. A lot of interference from the Fire Investigator is also possible because of how much Soul Weaver relies on kind of those tight spaces and being able to maneuver within those tight spaces. Fire Investigator does put a bit of a damper on that. She does have a fairly slow heavy hit as well, so that can also come into play against the Fire Investigator. Looking at Persona Webs here, we are going to have double Tide Turner on the Forward as well as the Acrobat, Fire Investigator and with Broken Windows, and Painter with Flywheel. Painter Flywheel is honestly pretty good as well, because you do have to play very close to the hunter, especially in the early game. So yeah, I'm excited to see what this team is able to counter, and we actually are going to see KaKaKa's bringing excitement, really not wanting to take any chances with both the Forward and the Painter on the team, wanting to get at the very least, just once again, we're looking for these tie situations. So as long as KaKaKa can get an early down, get an early elimination, it's going to put him in very good shape for the later stages of this match. But heading into things, it looks like we're heading towards the corner house here. Just playing around, looking for Namiko as our first target on Acrobat. 3 ciphers have been started already. We do have the slow decoding of the Forward to take into account as well. I don't believe... Does Fire Investigator have a decoding debuff? I actually have to check that. But I think I had to check that yesterday too. I'm terrible. But continuing the chase here, Acrobat heading over towards... Actually heading into the Fire Investigator cipher. Now we do have an airbag set up here, possibly for later, but that Fire Investigator, has he fully left the area? Well, with Acrobat leaving the area, that's true, but Acrobat's actually rotating into Forward as well. This is putting a pretty significant decline on the decoding progress, even with Forward obviously having slower decoding in general. It's very risky to kind of be rotating into your teammates like this. Fire Investigator has been able to return to the cipher though. We're going to camera trick a little bit, looking to catch Acrobat off guard here. not quite going to be the case. With that, with the excitement as well, it is going to be more difficult to cut this chase short here. But oh, not quite dodging the firebomb, but very nicely done there. Just maneuvering around and being able to knock Acrobat down. I would say not the fastest down in the world, but with Acrobat having kited into the other teammates, that is going to leave us with 4 ciphers remaining, 2 ciphers on the go, and he did actually die as well on Fire Investigator's cipher. So yeah, just a little bit unfortunate there that Namako wasn't able to get as far away from the rest of the survivors, but also Eversleeping's not the biggest map in the world, so I would say, you know, it's going to happen. Running into your teammates, but still. Ace with a very good rescue there. And KaKaKa, ooh, getting very, very close there to missing that hit. But unfortunately, nothing that Namako could do, being forced into a corner there, and not quite able to go for any bombs or any stuns. No forward in the area either, but he does still have full ball. I would say looking to possibly heal up and go in, or just stay focused on decoding, keep the ball for endgame, or for after Namako's next chair. But we do have Painter in the area looking for the rescue, and also looking for KaKaKa's face. Now that is what's going to be very important here. Looks like we do actually have Ice coming through for the stun. Unfortunately, not going to go through, and we're actually going to get a chip as well. With excitement off, we do have Painter able to come and support, and there's no excitement here either for Ice to worry about. But of course, yeah, with that second spit, unfortunately, just not able to get any of that harassment in. It would have been a very, very good stun if it had gone through. That was about, I would say, a third of the ball, but unfortunately, just not quite able to land that with KaKaKa's excitement. So very, very nicely played with the excitement there. We will see forward going for a chair here. Acrobat already sent back to the manor. Yeah, I would say things are looking very, very good here for AXIZ Wave. Now, if we do end up with a 4-man elimination, we'll see if they end up... I don't think they'll play the second half if this ends in a 4-man elimination, because then there's no... like, physically, there's no way for AXIZ Wave... or well, there's no way for AXIZ Wave to do anything but win in that case. But, oh! Getting stuck on Soul Weaver there. And unfortunately... Ooh, I think that airbag may have just killed Ice. That's unfortunate. That's really unfortunate there. It was a little bit risky. I think that hit may have still connected anyway, but with Kairu just taking the airbag right out, Ace not able to get any distance there. Well, we got Batoru coming in for the rescue. He does have a painting, but he's going to need to be very careful with this. 2 seconds, 1 second, and excitement is back up, so that painting's actually not going to do anything if we end up placing it now. Yup, and that excitement is in play here, but we're going to go for the spit. The spit is going to miss. Kairu's still at with just 1 chip of health. He's going to go ahead and down Batoru here. Are we going to go for the pickup? Ice is in the area. He can go for a stun here, missing the chip hit once again. We're going to see Kairu at 3/4 health there. Ice is still injured. He can come for the ball, but it's going to be very risky if he does. KaKaKa aware of this, and yeah, just going for the mind game here. That's going to be a very long stun from Ice. No excitement in sight, but unfortunately, playing around this Prime Cypher is not going to do AWG any favors. As unfortunate as it is. But that's actually going to be Painter's first chair here. Kairu hard at work on a Cypher, reaching about 30-40% progress. Ice just giving tinnitus. Yeah, it's just very, very tense in this endgame here. Is Kairu actually leaving the Cypher now, looking to go for that rescue? We do have Trump card in play, though, and there's only 10 seconds left to Excitement being back online. Can switch to Warp here, but Batoru actually was able to be rescued. I would say at this point, not actually switching to any trait, keeping Excitement online, because Painter's about to have a painting, and that looks like KaKaKa's having the exact same thought, not quite able to get that stun in. Will we see a switch to Teleport? Not quite yet. That Cypher is still shaking, KaKaKa keeping an eye on it, but still not going for it. Batoru very nicely done, missing that stun, or missing the chip hit. Oh, but we're actually going to go ahead switching to a Teleport. Batoru not placing that painting. And Kaoru is just going to go down to 1 spit here. That Cypher was nearly primed. We're going to take Kaoru to a very far chair here. Not wanting to risk any chance of him getting rescued. That is his first chair, though. And now it really is a matter of if we're able to... if Batoru is able to get out. With that switch off of Excitement, though, we could possibly guarantee a painting for a dungeon escape, maybe? There is a chance of that. Flywheel also online. We could go for the solo escape here. But KaKaKa is out for blood. And yeah, it really is just the waiting game. Is that Cypher going to start shaking? Batoru's standing at it. But yeah, looks like no. KaKaKa obviously does know where dungeon is, but we're getting closer and closer to that painting being able to guarantee a solo escape. KaKaKa heading out now, though, looking for Painter. Looking for Painter. We do have sights on Painter. Are we going to be able to get the hit? Yes! Unfortunately, Batoru not able to avoid that hit. That is going to be a 4-man elimination here. And is that going to be AWG victory? Or no AWG victory. That's going to be AWG loss. AXIZ Wave victory. No, not yet. It looks like we are going to play through. Alright, and we will be heading into the second half of round 3. Yukakina coming in as AWG's Hunter. So that does mean we could... I would say... We'll see what they decide to ban for the Hunter bans, because honestly, at this point, AXIZ Wave could just go ahead and ban, you know, Hermit, not Hermit, but like Wax Artist, go a little bit more towards Yukakina's mains here, because the stakes, I mean, there's physically no way for AWG to win out of this. AXIZ Wave has already won. So... okay, it looks like we are going to go ahead, just stick with the Ivy and Opera Singer bans. We've got Seer and Forward as our first 2 bans from Yukakina. And Priestess is... it's almost a bizarre reversal of the previous ban pick here. We've got Priestess and First Officer on the picks list for once, not banned, being let out here fully. Fire Investigator for our next ban, finally taken off the table. Tuna, unfortunately, not able to stick with that pick. But we will see Aeroplanist coming in instead. Once again, for our global bans here, we've got Coordinator, Embalmer, Psychologist, Antiquarian, Prisoner, and Mercenary. And Prospector is going to be our final ban. So I would say maybe we're looking at something like a Disciple. Wax Artist wouldn't be bad here. Especially... Enchantress? AXIZ Wave has gone with Enchantress before, I'm pretty sure. And she is a pretty popular 3rd round pick, or at least has been in the past. I wouldn't expect Yukakina to play Hermit here, though, so Enchantress is a very interesting pick. Especially since Yukakina is generally a Wax Artist main, or at least has been in the past. Enchantress does tend to struggle against Wax Artist just because of that close range that you need. But, that's very interesting. And if we're looking at something like a Disciple as well, Enchantress can struggle against Disciple pretty hard, so... yeah, Enchantress is a very interesting pick here. But the rest of the team is looking very solid. Priestess is always a beast. Ever Sleeping is one of her many homes. Disciple wouldn't be bad at all here. Okay, we're gonna go with the Wheel. That makes Enchantress a lot scarier. That makes Enchantress a lot... well, I guess maybe not in terms of, you know, being able to down her without her being able to use her stuns, but she can stun out of the Wheel transformation. And I believe that'll cancel the like ring of spikes, which I'm blanking on the name of, but yeah, the full presence Poland area of effect spiking, I believe Enchantress can stun out of. So yeah, hopefully AXIZ Wave has brought their flywheels for this match. I would definitely be apprehensive about that, but at this point, I mean, even if it's a 4-man elimination here, it'll still tie, and AXIZ Wave will take the victory. So honestly, at this point, it's really just an exhibition match. So we'll see what AXIZ Wave is able to do here. Yukikina taking the spawn up at the corner house exit gate. Aeroplanist in the center. First officer down by the double 11. Priestess near the graveyard exit gate, and Enchantress over by the graveyard. So not bad spawn selections here at all. Priestess is definitely in prime position to set up supports for the Aeroplanist if he ends up taking the first kite. Can also set up a lot of support for First Officer as well. But I would say I still feel like Disciple would have been a safer pick here, especially with the First Officer on the team. Disciple counters First Officer very, very hard. But Wax Artist does as well, so I would guess, you know, maybe we're looking for a little bit of Breaking Wheel practice. We're going to see no detention, trump card, and insolence here. We've got excitement as well, so no blink. Flywheel on all survivors, so they were in fact prepared for this, or at the very least prepared for wanting that flywheel. I would suppose, I mean, you can flywheel Wax as well, so yeah. And First Officer is going to have that Tide Turner. No detention here is definitely risky, but again, this is an exhibition match, so it is what it is. A lot of Breaking Wheels don't bring detention because you do have those spikes as a little bit of insurance. You can double hit pretty much from the outset, but it's definitely risky. It's definitely a very risky choice. But Yukigina heading into the center house here, getting a little bit tripped up on the steps as well. But looks like we will be heading over towards Aeroplanist, maybe, but Aeroplanist has had plenty of time to rotate to this corner house here. Not really a place that you want to chase anybody, but especially not an Aeroplanist. So instead, we will be heading for Enchantress. Looping around the barrels here, trying to get a good angle, but Enchantress using the Breaking Wheel drifting against him very effectively. We're going to be forced out of wheel form here. We weren't able to spike Nyan. Oh, and a pallet stun here. Unfortunately, not quite going to be able to, you know, get anything more than a basic hit out of that. Very early excitement as well. But that did guarantee our first hit, so we are at our first presence, which means that we can get the snap down. Problem here, though, is that none of the survivors have been spiked yet. And with no spikes, that snap is going to really not do much of anything. Physically cannot use it unless we get a spike. Very nicely done from Otto using the jetpack to avoid being spiked here. I do think that one spike was actually given, though. So, yep, we were actually spiked there. And that's our second spike. Otto needs to be careful here. Using the flywheel just to stay out of the way. That does leave him vulnerable to the snap. Oh, but nicely done! Very nicely done with that hover. Just to get out of the way for a moment longer. Yukikina forced back into wheel form. And oh, it's going to get sucked through the portal? Oh, no! Oh, that gives so much more time for Aeroplanist. Oh, that's not good at all. Aeroplanist is going to get caught in the trap, though, and he will be down. Nothing he can do about that with 3 spikes. But wow, that was scary. That was very scary. I didn't even see that portal there. 4 ciphers remaining here. Pretty much 2 ciphers remaining, though. We've got 2 nearly completed. Another 2 well on their way for at least this point in the game. Takako is going to get stopped momentarily, but able to just go for the rescue right away. And Otto once again just using that final jetpack to get a little bit more distance. That has now run out. And we've got 1 spike. Yukikino looking for a second spike just to be able to snap down. And that second spike is going to be given, so that will be a snap. Otto seeing second share here. Ciphers are still coming along. It looks like we have needed to start a new Cypher. Nyan coming in for second rescue here, looking to get more stuns for that Enchantress. But Yuka actually going to switch targets completely, switch to pressuring the Cyphers here. Got Takako in sights. And Snap is actually on cooldown for just another moment. But Yuka looking for the basic hit. Very nicely done from Takako here. Avoiding. Oh, and just staying just out of range from that basic hit. Pocket Watch will be running out in a second though. But oh, just getting hit right through that pallet. But at this point, Otto's been healed back up to full. And with Flywheel on lock here, that's 3 pretty much full health, fully reset survivors. Very well done from AXIZ Wave. Nyan taking the chase now. Looks like we are heading into the slug game, which is very typical, not only of a breaking wheel, but of a breaking wheel with no detention. You kind of need to go for that slug game. Tuna taking full advantage of that Priestess capability, and unfortunately, Yuka can't break that portal here unless, unless he took the time to get out of wheel form, get back in wheel form. That's very unfortunate here, because that allows AXIZ Wave to continue to just control the map and control these ciphers. Staying on Nyan here, just playing around. We do have excitement, so Nyan is holding back on using that stun. But we are actually going to switch targets back over to Tuna. We've got 2 ciphers on the go, though. And still nothing that Yuka can do about that portal. We were able to break it here, but Tuna already escaped back over to the other side of the map. Back into wheel form once again. And those ciphers are staying still for at least a moment. It looks like we were trying to possibly heal up, reset, but oh, we were taking spikes out. Nyan just going to go ahead and eat that hit, knowing it's not going to kill him, just going to get more stuns. 5 full stacks on that Enchantress. Still not using them because of the knowledge of excitement, but the moment Yuka uses that trump card, I would guarantee that those stuns are going to start coming through. Takako taking the chase here. We still have 1 Pocket Watch left to use, and staying on the stairs, making it even more difficult to get that second spike. But yeah, he is just going to go down, unfortunately, not able to really escape that. Priestess on the way for this rescue. That final Cypher's not quite primed yet, but it's hard at work. It's nearly there. 92, 93, 94. And Cypher is prime. And they are just going to go ahead and pop it. Yuka does not have detention. Still has not used that trump card. Oh, has used the trump card now for Blink. Enchantress pinging that she has 5 stacks there. Yuka has no choice but to stay just out of the range. And we have Nyan coming in. Nyan coming in for the support. That exit gate is almost open. We're looking at a 4-man escape here. Priestess can go through the wall. Yuka looking to just cut them off, but without detention. Now we can get it down here, but we still have Enchantress to deal with those 5 stacks and no excitement in play. Are we even going to see those stacks go off? No. We're not even going to have to use the stacks to get those 4 escapes out the gate. A decisive victory from AXIZ Wave. 4 eliminations on both the Hunter and Survivor side to end us off. Just incredible performance there from all of AXIZ Wave. That's a complete... It's not every day you see both the Hunter and Survivor side secure a victory like that. So just very well played, very well done. And that's a 3-0 record for AXIZ Wave. So yeah, just a really strong start to the season for them. Very excited to see where they go from here.